My name is Katie Tomberlin, and I'm from Carteret County. This is Community Rising, Shoreside's environmental stories, broadcasting from the Working Narrative Studio. Coming up next are stories from coastal North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Kayla Gilliams, and I'm a reporter for Community Rising. Hog farms have long been contaminating the environment in North Carolina, and in the past few years, owners of these hog operations, like Smithfield, have started touting biogas as a way of making these operations more sustainable. In this episode, I talk with Kemp Burdette, the Cape Fear Riverkeeper, about what biogas is and why it's not the sustainable solution that these hog operations are making it out to be.
Factory farms or concentrated animal feeding operations are a huge issue in North Carolina, and they're an especially huge issue in the Cape Fear Basin. What happens on a farm is that you've got multiple barns, and those barns are filled and tightly packed with animals, and those animals create waste. A pretty decent illustration here is to take those almost 5.2 million hogs, understand that they're creating 10 times as much waste as a human being. That's 52 million people worth of waste. So these animals poop in the barns. That waste goes through the floor and is washed into a big open air cesspool. What the operators of these facilities have to do is to then spray that waste with these industrial sized pumps out onto fields so that the lagoons don't overflow. Biogas is a proposal, is an idea that if you cover these lagoons with a kind of a thick rubber cover that's flexible, that you can capture the methane that is produced in the lagoons, and you can pipe that methane to a central location and you can burn it to create electricity. What that kind of does, though, especially for the communities around these facilities, is just adds another environmental impact to their daily lives, right? So now they're having to deal with miles and miles of pipelines. Biogas is being touted by Smithfield as like somehow a solution to the problem of hog lagoons, which it is in no way a solution. The waste doesn't go anywhere. The waste is still there under that cover. It still has to be sprayed onto the fields at the same rate it was always sprayed onto the fields. And so at the very least, you should be treating this waste the same way we treat human waste. Nobody would say to themselves, well, it's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook my home's toilet up to a sprinkler, and I'm going to put it out in the yard, and I'm just going to spray the waste all over my yard. Nobody would ever think that was an acceptable way of waste management. But these facilities do that every day. Despite all the science that says people who live near these facilities get sick more, they die younger, they stay sicker longer. Despite all the evidence that these things are not good for anybody, the system just continues to get worse. And they're kind of just acting as if the only possible reality in North Carolina is that CAFOs stay just as they are, and then we just try to figure out ways to make these facilities more money by letting them burn hog waste, and it's kind of a false narrative. Like that isn't how it has to be. We don't have to have these facilities that are creating incredible amounts of waste that we then have to figure out something to do with. We really could change the whole system, and we wouldn't need to figure out kind of ways to greenwash an industry that is incredibly harmful for North Carolina's waterways.
You've been listening to Community Rising, Shoreside's environmental stories. This podcast is a special project of Shoreside's and Working Narratives. Do you have a story from our coast that you would like to share? Contact us at info@shoresides.org. Thank you for listening.